What's up, Danksters? That's right. It is almost 4:20, guys. We're getting ready to count down to the greatest time of all time. That is right, 4:20. We got an emergency alert. National Weather Service. A flash flood warning is in effect for my area. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Do not attempt to travel unless you're fleeing. Oh, wow. Oh, dang. Flash flooding, guys. That's right. We got down here. We got some flash floods. It totally got me distracted, too. We're counting down to the greatest time of all time, 420, guys, with TheDailyDank.com and the It's 420 Somewhere podcast, guys. And we are talking AI Explains the Amityville Horror, guys. Was it a hoax? Or was it a haunted Hellhouse? I read the book a long time ago. Was fascinated by it. Jody the Pig. Jody the Pig really fascinated me, guys. And I'm on my way to Hobby Lobby. Oh, man. Not good, April. Be careful. Is it raining down there? Usually the flash floods are more in the deserty area. Like really bad on the way to Havasu out here on the way to Laughlin, taking the back roads. Anyway, guys, we are getting crazy. We are getting wild, and we're going to get AI involved. Nigel McGenius is jumping in, and we're going to talk to him about the Amityville Horror. We're going to get into it, guys. We're going to get high as fuck. Blinker Challenge. We got strain of the day. We got all sorts of stuff to get into, guys. Blow up those cars. Pouring in Bullhead. Oh, dang. Yeah, be careful out there, everybody, man. Rosie Key, how are you? All right, guys, let's get ready to do this. Special pre-birthday edition for Mr. Brian here. All right, guys, Amityville, AI Explains. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get high and talk about it. Let's do it.
Get ready, get set, because it's time to go with the It's 420 Somewhere podcast. With your host with the most, the man voted most likely to smoke out with a Yeti, Mr. Brian Brown. Now sit back and relax, because it's time to go live across the world. Because it's 420 Somewhere.
And boom, we are live. That's right, guys. We are live. We're getting into some craziness today. I told my wife I'd water her garden for her, so it's raining. Apparently, Bullhead's getting a whole shit ton of rain today, guys. If you're not local, from the local area, we never get rain. We're out in the desert, Arizona, man. So when it rains, everyone freaks out. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Um, but yeah, man, it's been nice the last couple of days. Nice and overcast, been raining. Only bummer with that is we do get some rough flash floods, man. I remember one time headed up in the desert to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The road you take up the highway, and I think it's 95. I'm not sure what it is. You make that right to get into Havasu, but I was headed the opposite way, back to Needles, and I look over to my right, and it's nothing but desert. And then you got the railroad tracks up on the thing, and they go out through there. And all of a sudden, a wall. I kid you not, a wall of water, like a cylinder of water just pushes through, not like a giant wash. I'm talking maybe 7 foot long, 10 foot long, hard to tell from the road. And just this a wall of water. It wasn't like it was it was going full blast, man. You fuck around in some of that stuff, man. Holy moly. You guys ever see this video? I think it's out of Utah, out in where the Mohab, is that what it's called? Where people go out and they do all the hiking and all the Sacramento wash. Got you. Oh yeah. Um, the where everyone does all the off-roading out in Utah. There's this video on YouTube of a flash flood that hit, and one guy got lucky. He anchored himself to a little island and with a tree and was able to, like, him and his family, like, it was all families out there. And so he anchors himself. They're filming it. They're okay for the time being. And I kid you not, a Jeep Cherokee comes floating by. And like the dude in the Cherokee is like, what do I do? What do I do? And he has his family in there with him. And the guy's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what you do. And all of a sudden, you just fucking boom, he hits the wall. The Cherokee hits the wall of like a mountain and then goes, and that's pretty much where he goes out of sight. And that's pretty much where the video ends, man. Craziness, guys. But you know what also is crazy? Why we haven't started smoking for 420 yet, guys. Like those joints, like those bones, like those dab rigs. And let's do it, guys. It is 420. Let's shake that shit off. How was your 420, guys? Mine was good. Where's everyone at? We got Steve. Where's Steven at? Where's Open Carry Larry? Where's the whole crew at? What we got? Where's Lonnie? Where's Eric? Where's everybody? What we got? We got Tim W in the house. We got April. We got Rosie Key, Harvey Hooligans. We got Tim W, Rosie Key. We got all the gang in here. We got enough gang. Hey, you don't mess with my gang, man. Blow up those comments, guys. If you're in the house, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. Let's get into the strain of the day, guys. That is right. I got my bong loaded with some Pops weed today. We're gonna be getting into this, guys. But also I was gonna say something important. There was something important. I don't know. Larry, there's open carry. Larry, we appreciate you. We appreciate you, buddy. What's new in your life, Larry? We don't talk about Larry used to have the greatest stories when we first met him. And we I don't know if we've silenced Larry, but Larry, we need to hear have you gotten lost in a park? Have you lost your car lately? Larry has some badass stories. I like Larry's stories, so we got to hear some more. We got to hear some more. Thank you, RV Hooligan. That's right. So we were gonna run up to Vegas tomorrow. It appears. I was talking to April. We're gonna do some Area 15, and I'll be doing morning show, and then we'll do something in the afternoon. Probably not a whole whopping one, but something. All right, guys, let's get into it. It is the strain of the day.
All right, stoners. Today's strain of the day is banana smooth, jealousy-inducing, and about to make your Monday feel like a lazy Sunday. Say hello to banana cream jealousy. This hybrid's a cross between jealousy and banana cream cake, and it brings the best of both worlds. Dessert vibes with heavyweight effects. Pop open the jar and boom, you're hit with a sweet banana pudding aroma, swirled with a little creamy funk and just a hint of peppery spice. Smells like the dessert table at a stoner family reunion. On the inhale, banana milkshake meets cookie dough, smooth as hell, with a finish that's got just enough kick to let you know it's got teeth. Now the high starts off with a mellow euphoria, kinda like that first bite of cheesecake when you're way too high. And then it sinks into a warm, full-body calm that makes you forget what you were worried about in the first place. THC hovers in the 22-24% range, so it's potent but chill. Great for movie nights, painting sessions, or just vibing with your pets and talking about parallel universes. So, would you peel this one open or pass? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And for more Dank content, head over to TheDailyDank.com and roll through the healing center of needles for the freshest flower in the game. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay lifted.
All right, that sounded kind of forced, that last bit. Stay lifted. Stay lifted. I don't know, I'm crazy. Game night. Let's call it a Thursday. I got some things to do tonight, otherwise I would. And then tomorrow we're gonna be driving to Vegas. Let's call it Thursday. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, guys, let's get into a little cannabis comedy corner. Let's do it. Maybe not. We got an old one. Let's see what's.
Hey, Danksters! It's True Crime Thursday! 'Cause nothing goes better with a... Hey, Danksters! It's True Crime Thursday! 'Cause nothing goes better with a good toke than a good joke! And some creepy criminal stories. So, I was thinking the other day, what if we had a stoner criminal? Like he's out there trying to commit a crime, but every 5 minutes he forgets what he was doing. Wait, was I robbing a bank or just trying to get some snacks? And the best part about true crime shows? They always say stuff like, the criminal thought they'd get away with it, but they made one mistake. And I'm over here like, yeah, their mistake was thinking they could get away with it without snacks. I'd have been way more focused if I had a joint in my hand. Then there's those wild true crime documentaries where they're like, the suspect was acting strangely, pacing back and forth. And I'm like, yo, that's just me after 2 hits, pacing around looking for my phone. You can't blame people for that. Anyway, if you're looking for more dank laughs, that definitely involves snacks, head over to the Daily Dank. It's time for the Blinker Challenge.
All right, we do. We got a Blinker Challenge for you guys. All right. Let's get an AI ready. All right, guys, we got a good blinker challenge. I got some Pops Weed, some White Girl. I was playing Vader Immortal earlier. If you guys go check out the private group, free to join, guys, over on Facebook. I was broadcasting Vader Immortal. If you don't blink, you can see my crazy bedroom curtains right before we go live. Oh man, it's pretty cool. They're like stained glass. It's like a skeletons dancing, and they look like stained glass. I like them. They look, but then you might be able to see my messy bed, which is not good. But anyway, let's get into a blinker challenge. It's gonna be a lighter challenge. I got to jumpstart some lighters to make this thing work. Oh man, rain is really dumping down. Ooh. Oh man, I wonder if we're gonna get any down in Needles. All right, guys, let's get in. I think we need the smoke. Let's get into this blinker challenge.
Got the podcast cranking loud, haze arising. It's 420 somewhere, eyes are blazing. One hand on the wheel, other on a vape. Brian stepping up, can he show his shape? Lights glowing red, holding breath till you think you're dead. Who's the champ? Who's the king of smoke? Taking drags till your lungs near choke. Blinker challenge, lights glowing red, holding breath till you think you're dead. Who's the champ? Who's the king of smoke? Taking drags till your lungs near choke. Blinker challenge showdown, who's gonna fall?
All right, guys, who's ready? This pink Cadillac Xana. Ooh, I'm gonna have to try that. I gotta get I treat myself. I treat myself on my birthday, and I get a strain. I pick out a high end, super deluxe, like maybe a half ounce or something. I treat myself for my birthday. Oh man, we were coming back from Vegas from the concert Saturday. Holy shit, we saw a lightning storm, man. It was crazy. But enough of the palaver. Let's get the show on the road. All right. Let's light this thing. Let's see if I can clear this bong. The bong of it, bong of the bong bong. See if I can clear this bong. How many more times can I say it? In 4 hits? I don't know. 4 hits is rough. 4 hits is rough, but we're going to do it, guys. We're going to do it. All right, see if I can get this lighter lit. Oh, shit, right off the bat. Oh, fuck. And then it goes out. And then it goes out. All right, here we go. When you're rubbing it with the wrong hand, we all know how that goes. Come on, light, you son of a biscuit eater. All right, maybe we need to go this route. All right. Oh. Can I pump some fluid in the other lighter and do it that way? There we go. There we go. No one breathe. No one fucking breathe. No one fucking breathe. Woo! What does Ric Flair say? Holy shit. Ric Flair says, woo! Oh, man. All right, guys, we're going to hit this. Let me know what you think of this new song. There's going to be a new intro for the show. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe. Here we go. All right. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's smoke this bad boy. Light it up with me, the nature child.
I wasn't born with a crown or a stage, just desert dust and a heart full of rage.
Woo.
Told I'd never make it past that town line, but I lit a fire and I let it shine. Took the long road, took the hits,
Whoa,
paid my dues
baby.
in blood and grit. They laughed when I said I'd break the mold. Now they knocking on the doors I hold. Got arrows arrows in my back, but I'm still walking proud. Voice for the broken, screaming out loud. Didn't come this far just to fade to black. Built the Daily Dank with arrows in my back. I bleed, I burn, but I don't crack. Still rising up with arrows in my back. Yeah, I rise with the smoke, never looking back. Riding a rebel, riding that outlaw track.
Oh, blasted of a bomb. Oh, man.
They said stay quiet, play their game, but silence never lit no flame. I kicked down doors they tried to bar. Made a studio out of broken parts. This ain't just weed, it's a war cry song for the ones who felt they don't belong. From bullhead heat to Hollywood dreams, we built this on faith, not get rich schemes.
There we go, guys. New song for the Daily Dank, Arrows in My Back. First one through. Always gets arrows in the back, guys. Cowboy Carter video. Still Taco Tuesday. They don't give a shit about Cinco de Mayo, but Taco Tuesday. They are serious, guys. They are serious. All right, let's get in to a little, man, holy guacamole. Holy guacamole. Let's get into a little something I like to call AI Explains, guys. Let's open the door for our brother from another motherboard, Nigel McGenius, guys. That's right. Let me pull him up here. Old Nigel. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That's a creeper. It's a creeper. Woo! I always knew white girls were creepers. Oh, man. I'm starting to sweat again. All right, let's get Nigel McGenius in the house. Nigel McGenius, are you in the house? And are you ready to help us with today's AI Explains?
Oi, oi! I'm here and ready to rock, mate. Let's dive into the mystery of the Amityville Horror and see if we're dealing with a genuine haunted hellhouse or one of the greatest paranormal con jobs of all time. Ready to get into it?
Oh, I'm so ready for it. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit, and then you can kind of take it from there and give up a summary. So, guys, a family moves into their dream home on Long Island. 28 days later, they flee in terror, claiming demonic forces drove them out. But was it real? Or one of the greatest paranormal hoaxes ever sold to Hollywood? This is what we're going to find out on this episode of AI Explains the Amityville Horror. All right, Nigel, break it down for us. Give us the summary of what we're getting into here.
All right, let's dive into the nitty-gritty. So here's the lowdown. In 1974, the DeFeo family tragedy rocked 112 Ocean Avenue when Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family. Fast forward to 1975, when the Lutz family moved in, only to flee 28 days later, claiming they were tormented by paranormal forces. Think green slime, swarms of flies, and a creepy red-eyed pig demon named Jody. Their story blew up into a best-selling book by Jay Anson in 1977 and a hit movie in 1979, turning the Amityville house into a legend. But not everyone bought the ghostly hype. Skeptics argued it was all a massive hoax concocted by the Lutzes and their lawyer to make a quick buck. Even the owners reported zero paranormal activity. So was it a house possessed by evil spirits or just a clever con job? That's what we're unpacking today, and by the end, we'll see if the Amityville Horror is truly haunted or just a Hollywood horror story. Ready to jump into the deep end?
Yeah, you know what? I got a question for you first. Was this like probably the first and the biggest paranormal story that really hit the mainstream. Before this, were there any really, really big mainstream paranormal stories that hit the local and national news?
Great question. The Amityville Horror was definitely one of the first and biggest paranormal stories to blow up in the mainstream media. But it wasn't the very first. There were a few notable paranormal cases before it that also captured public attention, though perhaps not to the same blockbuster extent. For example, the Enfield Poltergeist, 1977 to 1980, this UK case of a supposed haunting in a London suburb got a lot of press and inspired The Conjuring 2. The Bell Witch, early 19th century, an American folklore staple that was widely known and documented long before Amityville. The Fox Sisters and the Birth of Spiritualism, 1848. These sisters kicked off the spiritualist movement in the US, claiming to communicate with spirits and sparking a nationwide fascination. However, the Amityville Horror was arguably the first paranormal case to achieve massive multimedia success in the modern era, with a best-selling book and blockbuster movie cementing its place in pop culture and making it a household name. It set the standard for how paranormal stories would become cultural phenomena. So yeah, Amityville was a game changer and laid the groundwork for the explosion of paranormal pop culture we see today.
So let's start with the DeFeo family. I've actually read the book. It's been probably about 30 years or so since I've read it. But from what I remember, they were just like a normal family, right? The son might have had some, it will obviously had some issues. But tell us about the DeFeo family.
Absolutely. The DeFeo family seemed like a typical suburban household on the surface, but there was a lot simmering beneath. They lived in the now infamous house at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, Long Island. The family consisted of Ronald DeFeo Sr., his wife Louise, and their 5 children, Ronald Jr., known as Butch, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew. Ronald Sr. was known to be quite strict and domineering, and there were reports of a turbulent household environment. Butch, the eldest son, had a history of behavioral issues and struggled with drug use and violence, which created a lot of tension within the family. On the night of November 13, 1974, Butch snapped and committed the unthinkable. He shot and killed all 6 members of his family while they slept. The murders were brutal and shocking, and they rocked the quiet community of Amityville. Butch initially tried to cover up his crime by claiming the murders were the work of a mob hitman, but he eventually confessed. He was convicted and sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences. The gruesome nature of the DeFeo murders laid the foundation for the house's dark reputation, which the Lutz family's haunting story would later amplify. The combination of a real-life massacre and a supposed paranormal infestation created a legend that endures to this day.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, man, when you think horror, when you think paranormal, first thing that really comes to a lot of people's mind is the Amityville house. Let's talk about the Lutz family. They're a young family, kids. I think he's a stepfather, right? They move in and then they're gone within 30 days. Kind of break that down. I'm super fascinated with Jody the pig. When I read the book, the Jody the pig aspect of it, and with the kids involved, that was kind of the tipping point if I believed it or not, was the kids and this Jody the pig. Kind of break down the Lutz family for us.
For sure, the Lutz family story is what turned the Amityville house crime scene into a paranormal legend. George and Kathy Lutz moved into 112 Ocean Avenue in December 1975 with Kathy's 3 children from a previous marriage, Daniel, Christopher, and Melissa. George was a former Marine turned businessman, and they thought they'd found their dream home, scoring it at a bargain price due to the DeFeo murders. But almost as soon as they moved in, they claimed things got weird. They reported all kinds of supernatural phenomena, strange noises, unexplainable cold spots, mysterious foul odors, and even green slime oozing from the walls. George supposedly woke up at 3:15 a.m. every night, the exact time of the DeFeo murders, and they saw ghostly apparitions. Then there's the infamous Jody the pig. Missy, the youngest child, started talking about an imaginary friend named Jody who appeared as a demonic pig with glowing red eyes. One night, George and Kathy claimed they saw those glowing eyes staring in through a window, leaving hoof prints in the snow outside. The Lutz's experiences were so intense that they fled the house after just 28 days, leaving their belongings behind. Their story became the basis for Jay Anson's book and the subsequent movie that catapulted the Amityville Horror into a global phenomenon. Whether you believe their story or not, the Lutz family's account is what turned the Amityville house into one of the most famous haunted houses in history.
Oh no, 100%. What was it? I don't remember in the book. Was there like a secret room or something like that?
Yep, exactly. The Lutzes discovered what they called the Red Room. It was a small, hidden room in the basement that wasn't on the original house plans. They described it as having red walls and a generally creepy vibe, almost like a hidden chamber. The Lutzes believed this room was a sort of focal point for the evil energy in the house. They claimed their dog wouldn't go near it and that it gave off an oppressive, sinister feeling. This discovery added another layer of mystery and fear to their experiences and helped fuel the legend of the house being a portal or a hotspot for paranormal activity. So the Red Room became one of those eerie details that made the whole Amityville saga even more compelling, adding to the sense that there was something hidden and malevolent lurking beneath the surface.
And this room has been confirmed, like it was a hidden room in the house.
Yes, the Red Room was indeed a real physical space in the house. It was a small hidden storage area in the basement, painted red and not immediately noticeable. While it wasn't necessarily a secret room in the sense of being completely hidden or unknown, it was a peculiar feature that wasn't on the original house plans, which added to its mystique. The Lutz's discovery of the room and their claims about its eerie atmosphere contributed heavily to the house's haunted reputation. Even though later owners and investigators found nothing supernaturally unusual about it, the idea of a hidden red room definitely helped fuel the mythos surrounding the Amityville Horror.
Did DeFeo say anything about the Red Room?
Ronald DeFeo Jr. didn't specifically highlight the Red Room in his accounts or confessions. His focus was primarily on the night of the murders and the tumultuous family dynamics that led up to the tragedy. The Red Room's eerie reputation really came to light with the Lutz family's story. It was the Lutzes who emphasized the room's creepy aura and its supposed connection to the supernatural events they experienced. For them, it became a focal point of the haunting, but there's no record of DeFeo attributing any significance to it during his time in the house.
Interesting. All right, so let's get on to paranormal theories. What are some of the theories that are based around the Amityville house?
All right, let's dive into the paranormal theories that have swirled around the Amityville house. First, residual evil from the DeFeo murders. Many believe that the brutal murders committed by Ronald DeFeo Jr. left a lingering negative energy in the house, essentially a psychic imprint of violence and trauma. This theory suggests that the house absorbed the malevolent energy, causing the paranormal disturbances the Lutz family experienced. Second, demonic possession or a portal to hell. Another popular theory is that the house was a gateway for demonic forces. The Lutzes reported seeing terrifying apparitions, experiencing levitations, and feeling an oppressive presence, all of which they attributed to demonic entities. This theory was further popularized by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who claimed the house was infested with something truly evil. The land's dark history. Some theories propose that the land itself was cursed or held dark energy long before the house was built. There are rumors that the property was once a Shinnecock Indian burial ground or a site where occult rituals were performed. While these claims lack concrete evidence, they add to the legend that something sinister was rooted in the location itself. The pig demon, Jody, and occult connections. The figure of Jody the pig, the demonic entity that Missy Lutz supposedly befriended, is often cited as evidence of a powerful, malevolent presence. Some believe the house's architecture or its history made it a magnet for occult activity, giving rise to these sinister manifestations. Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous paranormal investigators, concluded that the house was haunted by a demonic presence. They claimed the property was one of the most intense hauntings they'd ever encountered, which lent credibility to the idea that something supernatural was truly at work. Each of these theories has its own believers and skeptics, but together they create a root of mystery and intrigue that keeps the Amityville Horror alive in the public imagination.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of the biggest and best stories. I'm wondering when they'll do a Conjuring movie about the Amityville, or if they do. I know there's legal rights around it and all that. So let's also, I wanted to ask you about DeFeo Jr. He also claimed that there was paranormal and he was possessed or something like that, and that's what drove him to commit the murders, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Ronald DeFeo Jr. did claim at various points that he was influenced or even possessed by a dark force when he murdered his family. Over the years, he gave multiple and sometimes conflicting accounts of what happened. One of these accounts was that he heard voices in the house that urged him to kill his family. He also suggested that he was possessed by some malevolent entity that took control of him. While these claims added a layer of paranormal intrigue to the story, many people believe that DeFeo's accounts were attempts to shift blame or to create an insanity defense. Nonetheless, his stories about supernatural influences contributed to the overall legend of the Amityville Horror and reinforced the idea that the house was somehow a catalyst for evil.
That is really interesting. That's interesting. Like, I guess, you know, when you put the whole Indian cemetery, that kind of thing, makes it really interesting. Not to veer off topic, what is the licensing with the Amityville Horror movie? Could they turn that into a Conjuring universe movie?
Great question. The licensing and rights around the Amityville Horror are pretty complicated. The original events and the Lutz family story are considered public domain, which is why you see a ton of Amityville-themed movies and projects. However, the specific story elements that were part of the original book or movie adaptation are often tied up in various copyrights and trademarks. As for integrating it into the Conjuring universe, it's a bit tricky. The Warrens did investigate the Amityville house, and that's depicted briefly in the opening scene of The Conjuring 2. However, because of the complex rights issues and the many other adaptations out there, fully incorporating Amityville into the Conjuring universe would require navigating a lot of legal hurdles. In short, while it's possible from a narrative standpoint, the legal and licensing entanglements make it unlikely that we'll see a full-fledged Amityville-focused Conjuring movie anytime soon. But you never know. Hollywood loves a good ghost story.
Oh yeah, man, those movies have really set the standard for modern day horror. All right, back to it. Let's talk about the hoax theory and the debunk side of things. What do you got for us?
All right, let's flip the coin and look at the hoax and debunk side of the Amityville story. First, the Lutz's financial motive. One major argument for the hoax theory is that the Lutz family was in financial trouble. They purchased the house at a bargain price, but still struggled with mortgage payments. Some skeptics believe they concocted the haunting story to get out of their mortgage and make a profit from book and movie deals. Second, collaboration with William Weber, attorney for Ronald DeFeo Jr., later admitted that he and the Lutzes discussed creating a sensational story to make money. According to Weber, they came up with the haunting story over many bottles of wine and intentionally exaggerated the events. Third, lack of corroborating evidence. Investigators and subsequent owners of the house have reported no paranormal activity. The physical evidence of the events described by the Lutzes, such as the green slime and hoof prints, has never been substantiated. Fourth, inconsistencies in the Lutzes' story. Over the years, the Lutzes' accounts have faced scrutiny for inconsistencies and embellishments. Critics point out that some of their claims, like the windows slamming shut and green slime oozing from walls, were likely fabricated or exaggerated. Fifth, psychological and environmental factors. Skeptics also suggest that the stress of moving into a house with such a violent history, combined with the cold winter conditions and the family's financial difficulties, could have created a perfect storm of psychological and environmental factors that led them to believe, or at least claim, they were experiencing paranormal events. All of these factors contribute to the idea that the Amityville Horror might have been more of a manufactured tale than a true haunting, but the debate itself is part of what keeps the legend alive.
Didn't DeFeo Jr. also come out and say he just made up that story to try to get out of the murders?
Yeah, exactly. Ronald DeFeo Jr. changed his story multiple times over the years. He initially claimed he heard voices and was influenced by some dark force, but later admitted that he fabricated those claims. He said he made up the supernatural angle in hopes of getting a reduced sentence or being found not guilty by reason of insanity. His shifting narratives over time only fueled the controversy and skepticism around the whole Amityville saga. It's one of the reasons why the case continues to be a mix of fact, fiction, and speculation.
So we talked about Lutz buying the house. They got it at a super discounted price because of the murders, obviously. And they still struggled to afford it, like you were saying. What exactly, I mean, was it that big of a discount to where they could have still not afford it? I don't understand, like, especially with a mortgage, you get a big discount like that, or were they still stretching it pretty thin?
So the Lutzes bought the house for around $80,000, which was a significant discount even in the mid-1970s, considering the size and location of the property. The discount was mainly due to the stigma of the DeFeo murders. Even with the discount, the Lutzes were reportedly stretching their finances pretty thin. George Lutz had recently started his own business, and the family had other financial obligations. The costs of maintaining such a large home, combined with their existing debts, quickly became overwhelming. This financial strain is one of the reasons skeptics believe they might have fabricated the haunting to get out from under the mortgage and capitalize on the sensational story.
All right. I think I've heard enough. What do you think, Nigel? What do you think? What is your breakdown, and explain to us what the logical, I guess, explanation is for Amityville House?
All right, here's the breakdown. The Amityville Horror is likely a complex blend of fact and fiction. On one hand, you have a horrific real-life tragedy, the DeFeo murders, which undeniably left a dark stain on the house. On the other hand, you have the Lutz family's sensational claims of paranormal activity, which appear to have been influenced by financial strain, sensationalism, and possibly even collaboration with others looking to profit. The logical explanation? The Lutzes likely exaggerated or fabricated their experiences, fueled by the eerie atmosphere of the house's history and their own financial pressures. Over time, these stories took on a life of their own, fueled by books, movies, and the public's fascination with the paranormal. In short, the Amityville Horror is a perfect storm of true crime, psychological stress, and good old-fashioned ghost story embellishment. It's a legendary tale, but one that likely has more to do with human nature than actual supernatural forces. But hey, it still makes for one hell of a story, doesn't it?
No, it really does. And you know what? I'm going to ask you one more question about it before we do our outro and final thoughts on it. With that being said, perfect storm of the murders and everything. Ed and Lorraine Warren, they're in there. They're saying they feel things. They're all this stuff, blah blah blah. But then after they leave, after that, nothing happens in the house. What do you think? Or we'll tease it for next week. Maybe next week AI explains Ed and Lorraine Warren. What do you think that the explanation on that is?
That's a great teaser for next week. The Warrens definitely add an interesting layer to the story. Their involvement gave the Amityville case a lot of credibility in paranormal circles. They claimed the house was infested with a demonic presence, which aligned with their broader work and reputation as paranormal investigators. But the fact that no...
Oh, are you there? Are you there, Nigel? Nigel, are you there? Oh, we lost Nigel, guys. We lost the Nigel, man. All right. Well, that happens. That happens time to time. Technology. That's a teaser. That's the teaser for next week, guys. That's the teaser. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. When everything is there, all the, like I guess enough to make a psychic maybe lean a certain way. Like there's enough things pointing that aren't really there. Like when you're being told, there was 4 murders in this house, and yeah, I don't know. Do you play into it? Do you? I don't know. I don't know how any of that works, guys. Um, but we're gonna find out next week on Paranormal Tuesday. That's right. Bum, bum, bum. That was a good one. That was a good one, man. All right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you. You have a good rest of your night. I will see you guys on the flip side. Take care of one another. You are loved. You are appreciated. We'll see you guys.
Thank you for joining us on the It's 420 Somewhere podcast. Broadcasting worldwide and brought to you by TheDailyDank.com. Check out our merchandise and amazing content. And follow us on all our social media. Now, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the morning.